Okay, so I hope you are all doing well. Good. I hope you are all doing good. Good day. I'm also doing well. I'll quickly do something like a roll call and then mention your names and see whether we are all on the same page. So I'll start with, so the names here are Franklina. Yeah, Franklina. David. And then our new entrant, Gosway, Jima, Samuel, Jacinta, Kenneth, Sabastina, and then Sika. Okay, so guys, once again, welcome to the videos I always put up together for you. This time around is on Scientometric review. I would like to say it's unfortunate I couldn't make it last week as I promised, but I believe that this week we'll be able to get whatever we are supposed to know. Okay, so without wasting too much time, so I'm sorry for the lateness or the thing being late, because I told you it was supposed to be immediately after the Christmas, 2 weeks afterwards, the second Saturday. But due to one or two reasons, I couldn't put together, I couldn't put things together, therefore I couldn't send the video to you. Okay, so I will not waste too much time, so I'll go straight to the point so that we all get on this. Already I have sent 3 articles to you. Okay, so in case you have not read it, in case, because one thing is that please, anytime I send something, do your best to read it. Do your best. Do your best. Don't, any information I put on the platform, don't take it for granted. Do your best to read it. Yes, and follow what we are doing, because it's not everything that I can put in the video, or it's not everything I can say. Some of the things, when they come into my mind, when they pop up in my mind or in my heart, I just come and put it on the page. So do your best to read whatever I put on the page. So one of the documents I sent to you, and I also forwarded to your emails, is exploring topics in bibliometric research through citation networks and semantic analysis. I hope you have read it. The reason why I wanted you to read this article was that this article explained, at least if you read the introduction and then it's other aspects of the article explained what a bibliometric review is about. And then also they went ahead to compare a scientometric review and bibliometric review. And in the article, they even mentioned that these two are almost the same, or most studies interchangeably use these terms. It's almost the same. Some of them too, they don't do that. They rather prefer to go on their own. But I'll explain to you as to what the difference is. But most studies, they refer the bibliometric review as the same as the scientometric review, and vice versa. So if you have not read this article, do your best to read it. And I've also mentioned that as far as literature review is concerned, you must be somebody who loves reading. You have to love reading. Very important. The second article I sent to you was about Scientometric review of global research trends on green buildings in construction journals from 1992 to 2018, written by Ibrahim Y. Wuni, Geoffrey Q.P. Shen, and Robert Osechi. I also mentioned that you have to read that article. And I believe you have read that article. In that article too, you also get to know what a scientometric review is about. And in fact, this article is more about construction management. So in fact, this article is easy to read, easy to understand, because some of the terms and some of the words in this article are things that you are familiar with. They are not abstract. Compared to the first article, I read the title to you. This article is straightforward. It contains, it contains things that you are aware of. The terminologies, the words, the whatever being mentioned in this article are some of the things that you have seen, you have heard, you have even done some work on them. So it's easy to read. So make sure if you have not read it, read it again. In fact, I'll even encourage you to read these articles before you even watch the video. Okay. Or you can decide to concurrently do the two at the same time. As you are reading the article, you also be watching this video. I'm going to do for you. The last one is review of risk management studies in public-private partnerships, a scientometric analysis. And this was written by myself, Dr. Robert Oseche, Shonjin, Chukuma Naji, and Ibrahim Buhayuni. So this article too, I'm hoping that you have read it. If you have not, do your best to read it. This is also an article which is also about construction management. And if not all, most of the terms and words and whatever that are in this article are things that, once again, I know you know them because you are in construction management. And I'm 100% sure that you know the terms which we have put in the article. So read it, okay? In case it's very difficult, as I said, I'm going to put this thing together, this video. You can read you can watch the video whilst you are reading the article, the two articles, especially the one on the one from Wuni and Joe Fishen, and the one from myself, Wuni, and Dr. Robert Oseche. Okay, so let's go straight to the point. So what is scientometric review? So the scientometric review is just like any other review method. So the other time, I told you that we have types of literature review techniques. We have types, but we have a number of them. But we have different review techniques that you can use to undertake a comprehensive literature review. And I explained to you in the previous videos that when we talk about literature review, we are talking about a secondary data which is already online or which is already somewhere that you are going to retrieve and you analyze them. You just assess them, you just go through them, examine them, and look at some key issues within these articles which are existing. So one of them is systematic review, which I introduced you to in the other video. In other videos, I introduced you to them, systematic. So systematic review, I told you that normally systematic review is good. You do it with not a large number of articles. And per my experience, because I have written a number of review papers. And the good news is that one of my review papers has also been accepted, which I shared with you on the page. Okay. And that one too, I use a different approach, which is Prisma, which I'll tell you is meta-analysis, systematic review combined. It's called Prisma. So I have written a number of review papers, and per my experience, I know that with respect to the systematic review, you can decide to use a fewer number of articles. Then I will encourage you, not more than 100, maximum that you can go you shouldn't go beyond 200 words if you are doing a systematic. If you want to do a very good systematic review, if you want to really do a very systematic review, you shouldn't use more than 200 articles. And the lowest that you can go for is, to me, lowest is 10. Anything less than 10 articles, people will see your article to be, even 10 is too small, but at least 10, maximum 50 or 15, between 15 to 200 acceptable. I'm saying this based on my experience. It's not based on anything that somebody has put somewhere. It's based on my experience, the number of articles I have written myself, and also the number of papers I have read. Okay, so that is systematic review. So what is it about? With systematic review, you use fewer number of papers, and with that one, you have to read each and every article thoroughly. And based on your thorough review of the articles, you extract important information and use the information to examine whatever you want to examine. So that's systematic. That's one of the techniques of literature review. Then we have another technique called Scientometric review. So with Scientometric review, you have to use a larger number of articles. The reason why the Scientometric review came in was that systematic review has been around for quite a long time. In fact, it has been around for, I think some time ago, I even saw an article which was written in the 1950s or 1940 something, and they use a systematic review. So systematic review has been around for a long time. So I think it got to a point based on I'm sharing this with you based on my experience and based on articles I've read. It got to a point where they got to know that what about if I'm dealing with 50,000 articles? Because with systematic review, 200 articles, you can read all of them, or anything less than that. 50, 60, 70, 80 articles you can read. But what about if you are dealing with 50,000 articles and you want to analyze them? And do you still want to sit down and read all the 50,000 articles? The answer is no. So they came up with this scientometric review. And with scientometric review, you don't do the analysis yourself. There is a software. There is another data analysis tool which will help you to do that. Okay, so with the software, all that you have to do is that you extract your 50,000 or 20,000 or 2,000 or 1,000 articles. Then you dump them or you put them into the software. You run the software, and the software will do the analysis for you. Okay, so you are going to see from the scientometric review that some of the things that we did manually, where I told you to, for example, somebody like, I think Sika, for example, I told you to look at the methodology. And then I think, David, I told you to look at the annual trend. You see that with the software, then others too, I told you to look at the citation analysis. I think Franklin also, I told you to look at the citation analysis. You see that these analysis that we did manually, we did it manually. When I say manual, it's not like, but I mean, you sit down, you count. Okay, this, you add this to this, and you see that there's no need for you to do all these things. There is a software, or that software, which will help you to run these things easily. With just a blink of an eye, you click on it, and then the thing will come out. You get a whole thing. So that is the beauty of the scientometric review. So the scientometric review came in to support the systematic review. So you will see that what we are going to do, or the processes I'm going to take you through, because I will use one of the articles as a guiding principle, as our guide. You see that all the systems that we went through, or all the systems I took you through when we were writing the systematic review, you see that we will follow the same process. We will follow the same. There's nothing new here. The only thing that will change is, one, the size of the data, or the data, which is the number of articles that we are going to use. You see that with the scientometric review, the number of articles are many, or the number of articles, the size is larger. compared to the systematic review. So whilst with the systematic review, we use articles of, let's say, about 36 or 37 or something articles. You see that with the scientometric review, we are going to use, you will start seeing something like 500, 1,000, 1,005, 1,007, 2,000 articles. So the larger the thing becomes, the better you go and use, or the better you use the scientometric review. So the question that maybe somebody will ask is, so then what happens to the content analysis and all that? So will the software give you the way to read the article so that you can extract very important words? Because if you look at some of my articles, I did something like a factor analysis, where something like a factor analysis, where I extracted the factors and all that and all that. Will the software do that for you? The answer is no, that the software will not do that for you. When we get there, or when we are into this thing, I'll show you something to do in a situation where you have used the software and you still want to do some kind of analysis, thorough analysis of the reading of the some of the articles. You don't have to spend your time reading all the 50. You can decide to choose to dwell on only the articles which are mostly cited or highly cited. Based on that one, you can go ahead and do your work. Okay. Another article too I will encourage you to read is from one of the guys in one called Deborah. Deborah. Let me check the name. Just trying to check. Oh. That article, if you have time, please do your best to read it. It's also a good article. A very good Deborah. Yeah, that's the name. This is the article. This is the article that I'm talking about. So, artificial intelligence in green buildings. I think it's also a very good article that you can decide to read. Do your best, read it, and I think it's going to help you, because there's also described the processes. He has a way of going about the processes of doing the scientometric review, which I think is also very important. He combined both the scientometric and systematic, which I think is very good for you to read. Okay, so back to our thing. So, but it's possible when you are reading the articles and all that, it's possible you may come across this. The difference between scientometric and bibliometric. First and foremost, I would say that they are the same. But some studies try to distinguish or separate them. But most of the articles I have seen, they use them interchangeably. So in order not to get confused, maybe when you get somewhere and somebody says, oh, so what is the difference between the bibliometric and scientometric? So I have this article here. I think that's the article I sent to you, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's why I told you to read it. Yeah, that's the article. Yeah, that's the article. Exploring topics in bibliometric is a three-sided citation analysis. It's one of the articles I sent you. So what's the difference? The bibliometric refers to application of mathematics and statistical methods to books and other forms of written communication. In other words, the bibliometric is more of, it's mathematical in nature. It's more of like something like meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is more of using statistical metrics, statistical tools to assess the existence of literature. Whilst on the other hand, scientometric refers to all quantitative aspects of science and scientific research. And so once again, the two terms, I would say they are the same because the scientometric tool also does the scientometric does the mathematics and statistical work just as the bibliometric. That's why I mentioned most studies don't even worry themselves about the difference between bibliometric and scientometric. They use them interchangeably. But here, this article is saying that the scientometric is rather bigger or larger. So here, bibliometric tends to be a subset of the scientometric. That's fair enough. That's good. But once again, I would say that some studies use them, or most studies use them interchangeably. So if you even look at this one, the first definition from this article, we see that scientometric and bibliometrics, and often involve the monitoring of research, assessments of the contribution of authors, general specific work, as well as the analysis of dissemination process of scientific knowledge. So this one, they are trying to say that it's almost the same, or if not the same, and they are different, they all do the same thing. Okay, so once again, don't worry yourself about the difference. Don't worry too much about the difference between scientometric and bibliometric. Don't worry too much. While some studies have argued that the scientometric is broader, others also see the bibliometric to be a subset of the other one. While other studies also consider them to be also the same. There's nothing different or new. Okay, so it all depends on you. Okay, so let me take you to the scholar and look at some of the articles that people have written and see how they use these terms. So autonomous vehicles, scientometric and bibliometric review. So you can see that when you look at this article, so let's quickly look at it. So what's the difference here? There's actually no difference. While the scientometric is giving you the mathematical aspects, the scientometric, that the bibliometric is giving the scientific aspect, the bibliometric will go further and include other techniques. Anyway, this one is a little bit outside our domain, our research domain. So, okay, so so here for now, I'm just trying to say that these words are used interchangeably. So don't worry too much about that. Okay, there's bibliometric and some another global pattern and trend related to aerosol and precipitation studies. Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, because sometimes you see a study where people have used the term bibliometric, but when you really look at the study, it's more of scientometric, and then you sometimes see scientometric, and it's more of bibliometric. That made me to conclude that the two of them are the same, or people use them interchangeably. We don't really have any serious difference practically between the two. There's no, we don't have it. That there's that kind of serious difference between, okay, as for scientometric, you do it this way, bibliometric, you do it this way, and because they are all the same, and in fact, they all use, if you are using any of them, or if you are using any of the terms, well, what will happen is that the data size or the size of the data should be more than at least, and it should be more than 200 to me. Okay, so it's just using terms, but there's no difference. Okay, I'm currently writing a meta-analysis paper, a purely meta-analysis mathematical science, mathematics, pure statistics. Writing a paper like that. So I think this paper will be good for me. I'll look at it later. Yeah. You can see there's no difference here. Something that they did created mean averages and all that. Which is something that is easy for me to do. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. Now, let me go straight to the point. Okay, so this paper too has also defined, or they have also explained what is scientometric and bibliometric review. Before I go to the article that we are going to use, so that we get to the actual work that we are doing, I think let me explain this one to you as well. Scientometrics and bibliometrics are methodological approaches in which the scientific literature itself becomes the subject of analysis. In other words, we use for literature review. Simple. In a sense, they could be considered a science of science. Scientometric researchers often attempt to measure the evolution of scientific domain, the impact of scholarly publications, the patterns of authorship, and the process of scientific knowledge production. The same, just like even systematic review, the same thing that we do. Scientometrics and bibliometrics often involve the monitoring of research. The same. Okay, researchers in such approaches have developed methodological principles on ways to gather information produced by the activity of researchers' communication and have specific methods such as citation analysis, which and blah blah blah, which we are going to see very soon. Many scientometric bibliometric studies will focus on authorship or will measure the contribution of journal and research organizations, but it may also involve a content analysis of words in titles, abstracts, a full text of books, journal articles, or conference proceedings, or keywords assigned to published articles by editors or librarians. So here you can see what I've been saying all along. It just terminologies and words, okay? They are just words that people are using up and down, but the content, if you are reading the content of the two, in case you see an article, which the article says, like the article that we wrote, which I sent one to you, the risk management of PPP, which we said scientometric. Another person may also write a similar, almost the same article, and also title it bibliometric, but actually there's no difference. Nothing. The content the same. Nothing. So it's just words that people just throw around, but the content, there's nothing different about the two of them. That's what I want you to understand. Because this is very important, because you may come across some of the articles and you are like, Isaac taught us scientometric review. So what about the bibliometric? Yes, so I just want, in fact, there's some of the studies that they use, you see another term called science mapping. If it's possible, I can show you one. Which to me, the science mapping is even a broader term for the scientometric and bibliometric. For the science mapping, we don't only use them to analyze literature with the science mapping. Science mapping is a bigger, larger term. Because with the bibliometric and then the scientometric, they are normally focused on reviewing existing literature. But the science mapping, you are just trying to map studies, some trends. It can even be a current event, and you can use the science mapping techniques to do that. Yeah. So to me, the science mapping tends to be a broader term, which involves analysis of the trends, events, and also evolution of whatever, could be science or whatever. So science mapping. So you can also read about what the meaning of what science mapping is. Yeah. Okay. Now let me come back to what we are using today so that we don't spend too much time. I think I've taken you through that enough. Then maybe another person may ask, so, okay, Isaac, what about the other techniques? Other techniques, when we get there, I'll introduce you to them. I'm talking about the Prisma, meta-analysis, scoping review, and then what again? Yeah, okay. So scoping, if we get to a point where there's a need for us to write a scoping review paper, I will explain that one to you. And then if we get to a point where there's a need for us to write a meta-analysis paper, I'll explain that one to you. But for the meantime, even if you want to understand what a Prisma is, you can read my article. Okay, let me show you. And read my latest article, which was last week. And within that article, you get to know, oh, thank God, all these folders, the article has been published. Okay, so this is the article I'm talking about, systematic review. This is a systematic review, but it's a systematic review that utilized the Prisma. In other words, a literature review of critical measures to manage financial risk of sustainable public-private partnerships. Okay, in this, I utilize the Prisma. So this is a Prisma. Normally, this is the standard Prisma approach. Okay, Prisma. If you want to use Prisma. So what is Prisma? Prisma is just a combination. Once again, as I mentioned to you, it's a combination of scientometric review and meta-analysis. So let me give you the full name, the full name is the preferred reporting items for systematics. So once again, Prisma, maybe if some of you have heard it, is just is a preferred reporting method for normal, the systematic reviews that we know, and meta-analysis, which is also another major literature review approach. Okay, so Prisma combines the two of them. So it's called preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. That's Prisma. So in my article, I use that. And this article has been accepted. It's going to be published in the next. This journal, the journal is extremely slow, extremely. Never seen a journal like that before. It's extremely slow. Okay, let me go straight. Now let's come to, okay. Let's come to the article I want us to use for our study. Then I will take you through the work. Please, after this video, you have a maximum of 2 weeks. We all have maximum of 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, if I think, or if anybody comes up to me and say that, Isaac, the 2 weeks is not enough, maybe add 1 more week, I'll do that. But if not, and everybody is okay after watching the video, I'm talking about watching the video. It's not about doing any other job, but watching the video. If everybody is fine, everybody is okay, then I will go ahead and then share the work that we are supposed to do. So here, or as far as this video is concerned, I'm going to concentrate on this article, which was written by a very good friend of mine. I've told you, or I've mentioned his name a couple of times, and I've also shown you some of his works in the past. Yeah, so he's somebody that you can look at his work. It's called Wuni. Okay. Wuni is a very good friend of mine. He's a very good friend of mine. Even as at last week when he saw that my paper has been accepted, I put it on research kit. He commented on it. He sent me personal message that hey, you are doing well. I like him because he like writing articles. It's not just about writing articles, but don't forget, I've told you that people are not just writing articles because you just want to write articles, but it's for a reason. To me, it's always good you document whatever you have in mind, especially something related to your thesis, PhD, master's, or undergraduate thesis. You need to do your best and document them. How do you document them? And put them in an archive, which future um, researchers, including your own children, can refer to. The reason why you have to do that is that it's possible when you just submit your work. One day the school will come back and say that they have your document or your thesis, they can't find it anymore. Or you yourself, it's possible something can happen in your house or somewhere that you live and you lose your document. To me, it's always good you do your best to put your articles out there. It has a way of people getting to know you. They will get to know you easily. There's anybody who will Google your name online will get to know, oh, okay, so this is Jacinta. Oh, so this is David. Oh, so this is Franklina. So this is, oh, Sebastiana. Oh, so this is this, or Sika. Oh, so that's Sika. Oh, okay. So you guys, I'm talking about your undergraduate studies and papers. Start writing review papers. You see, all these things I'm teaching you, I'm not teaching you because it's a fun that I'm teaching you, but I want you to start doing something. So what I will encourage you to do is that the undergraduate thesis that you wrote, I will not tell you to do it. No, that one, that one, I will not force you to put them into turn them into journal articles. But I'm just saying something so that you get a hint, you get a clue, then you start doing something. Start putting your articles together and put them into some of these journals and see what they will do. I think one of you did something about, I think, artificial intelligence. Another person did something about construction, something, with green buildings or something. All these things, decide to sit down, coin or form a title. Reach out to me, Isaac. That's why I said I'm not going to force you to do it. But I mean, if you reach out to me, that one I'll help you. And that's how I do my things. I don't want to force anybody. Yeah, the whole thing will be like, oh, Isaac forced me to do this. I didn't want to do it. And I want you to come out with your own initiative that I want to turn my undergraduate thesis. I want to extract a literature review from it based on my undergraduate studies. And even when we finish this review, I told you the other time that we are going to start going into empirical papers. If I were you, I'll just sit down. Once again, I'll just sit down and then look for a nice title. I don't know what you did. I remember some of you, the topics that you did, you mentioned it to me, but not everybody's topic I remember. Come up with something. So far, I've shown you videos. Okay. They say practice make man perfect. Forget about failure or forget about, hey, but this thing, if I do, it is hard though. Hey, I may not try. The white man says, or there's this adage. If there's no harm in trying. Try. Okay, so I'm encouraging each and everyone today. Once again, as I said, I won't do it for you. I will not come to you and say that go and put your this thing together and send it to a journal. But I'm just giving you a clue. I'm just giving you a hint that you need to wake up based on what I'm teaching you. You need to start putting something together on your own. Okay? And then reach out to me. Isaac, I did something about green buildings in Ghana. And I want to write a review paper on it. Okay, I've seen your videos, I've watched the videos, and I've started working on it. Is there any way you can help me? Maybe if you reach out to me, I can extract the data for you, if in case you are finding it difficult to get the data in Ghana. Because I know some of I think in US you don't have access to Scoopers and all that. Even if you have, maybe the other ones you don't have, the Web of Science and all that. You reach out to me, I'll get the articles for you, then you start working on it. Okay? There's no harm in trying. And in the medical field, which I have been told, which I think is the same everywhere, that's why we have for something that we call apprenticeship. Mm-hmm. When you go to a construction site, you look at what they are doing, and you also replicate, or you also do what they are doing. And by doing that, you'll be learning. You don't just go to construction site, or you don't go to any other company. That's why you go to a company, you become an apprentice, or you become normally they say they are giving you a probationary period for you to learn and all that. Okay, it's for you to learn. As they are doing it, that people who are there who have experience, they're experienced guys, they know the thing. As they are doing it, they expect you to also look at them and do the same. Okay, so it's just an advice. Once again, me, I will not mention it. It's up to you. I will not. It's up to you, and I'm not forcing anybody to do it. No, I will not. I will not force anybody. But I'm encouraging you. I think it's going to be a very good thing for you to do on your own. Start doing it on your own, and that's how I started writing articles. That's how I got to know how to write articles. Okay, so you are working with somebody who has experience in this area. Not only review papers, but writing articles in general. What do? You learn from him, and then you also start putting it into practice. But you see, one thing is that sometimes we want an easy way. So we watch the videos. Oh, I think the videos were good, and that's the end of it. Oh, you need to put something that in the long run, what am I going to get from all these videos? Is it just watching Isaac videos? Yes, Isaac videos are nice. He really spends time to explain things to us, and we really understand the thing. But after understanding the thing, what next? What are you going to use this for? Is it just going to be on your shelf? Is it going to be you just download the video, you watch it? You need to start putting something together on your own. So, for example, let me give you a clue. Maybe one of you did this green buildings in Ghana. Okay, so far I've watched Isaac's systematic review. I also want to do something, not only in Ghana, but maybe a review around the world. Review something around the world or something. So, okay, a review on green buildings. Then you check. People have done. Sorry, people have done green buildings. Okay, then what again? Is there something I can look at? Or even if at this stage or at this point you are finding it difficult to even come up with your topic, this is where you have to reach out to me, or reach out to somebody that you think is good at writing some of these articles. You reach out to me and say that, oh, Isaac, I'm trying to put together something. I'm trying to put something together from my undergraduate thesis, and I have a topic. But do you think it's a good topic? What do you think? If I start working on it, is it something that people will accept? Yeah, can you look at this for me? Can we shape this? I want to start writing something on my own and follow what you have been teaching us. If you reach out to me, I'm available. I'll show you the way. But until you will take that initiative and come to me, please, this is not part of what we are doing. This is just some wayside advice I'm giving to you. That's a way to learn, and that's also another way to benefit from what we are doing, so that you don't just watch the videos. come to me, I'll help you out. Okay, so enough of some of these things. Okay, yeah, so we are using these two articles as far as this tutorial is concerned. And from here, I will take you to the work that we are supposed to do. Okay, so as you can see, I'm starting from this. Let me start from this one. If you can really see my screen, and I believe you can see my screen, you can see that from the methodology point of view, the idea is almost the same as what we saw when we were writing the systematic review paper. When I drafted the thing and sent it to you, you can see it's the same. So even though this is scientometric review, but the approach is a systematic approach was adopted in doing the scientometric, and always that's what you have to do because it also follows the systematic approach. To analyze the last trend of studies on risk in PPP. So I cited some of the people who have written papers on PPP, and I said that they have mentioned that to understand the trends in the topic of subject matter, there must be a full review and thorough analysis of the findings of previous research studies using relevant published papers from academic journals after they have been methodologically analyzed. Yes, and even with any other article that you are writing in this world, being it an empirical or review paper, you always have to look at what people have written already. And based on what people have written already, you go ahead to undertake your review. I believe when you were doing your undergraduate research, or you're writing your undergraduate dissertation, your supervisor asks you to submit the supervisor asks you to submit a literature review chapter. And what was the purpose of the literature review chapter? Just to look at what people have done previously about the current topic that you are writing about. But you are not the first person to write whatever you are writing about. So if you are dealing with green buildings in Ghana, you're not the first person who is writing an article about green buildings in Ghana. People have written a number of articles about green buildings in Ghana, but maybe you are looking at a specific problem, research problem, which you think by undertaking that research, you can assist in solving that problem as far as green buildings in Ghana is concerned, or green buildings all over the world are concerned. The green buildings are concerned. You think you have a specific solution or something that you can bring on board which can help. That's why you're undertaking this research. So your aim is that after this research, anybody who will read your article, the person may be able to or find some solutions to some of the challenges and the problems which they are facing as far as the management of green buildings are concerned. So it's always good if you look at previous studies, because you are not the first person who is writing about that research domain. So I explained that. And then I said that Wooney and Cook they rather conducted a content analysis. Okay, I was just trying to say here that many studies, in fact, it is in there if you read the introduction, which was one of the problem statements I mentioned. I said previous studies did some review on risk management in construction management on PPP, but they didn't use a scientometric review because at that time, the number of studies on risk management of PPP was not that much. So they use fewer studies. And some of them too, not only that they wanted to use fewer studies, but they wanted to really look at the thing thoroughly. So they selected some top articles, and based on that, they use them to take their analysis. Okay, so Winnie and co employ conducted to conduct a content analysis studies on the process of conducting a systematic review is presented in this. But please, this article, that was one of the articles I wrote, I would say in my first, it was even less than a year. I read so many of the things where we should read the content and all that. You can see that the English and then the structure, the explanation, they are not that good, honestly. Yeah. Just like some of you, the stage that you are now, you are still learning and some of the things you don't understand. I appreciate whatever you write and send it to me. Yeah, but as time goes on, as you write more articles, you're going to be okay. Because if you look at this article and my current articles, you can see that there's a stark contrast or difference between the two. Okay, so that is you just introduce. So you just explain what, and also concern here, what I was supposed to do was to explain what a scientometric review is about and why I have adopted scientometric review. Okay. So because this one, the explanation is not that good introduction, I'm not so happy with introduction. I rather prefer to use Wuni's paper, who did a very good job in terms of explaining what the scientometric review is concerned. He introduced the session very well. Okay, so this is what he said. This article outlines the research methods and tools used in conducting scientometric analysis. Subsections are provided to offer a comprehensive outlook of the research methods to be adopted. Okay, in figure 1, the flow chart of the research methodology is presented. The subsequent sections provide a brief description of the major components of the flow chart. Okay, so just like as you saw in the systematic review, and some of my review papers I told you to go and read. You see that I always bring this diagram. It's called flow charts. It's up to you to bring a flow chart or not. It's not compulsory that you have to always show a flow chart. But one good thing about showing a flow chart is that anybody who is examining your paper or anybody who is reviewing your paper, it is so easy for the person to get to understand what you are presenting as far as your method is concerned. Because remember, the research methodology captures almost everything that you are doing. In summary, how did you conduct this work? And the flow chart will give you an idea. So with respect to Winnie's paper, he went ahead to explain what scientometric review is about. And he asked for this one, he even brought in the science mapping I was talking about. So he said, in this paper, a quantitative-based science mapping technique deployed. Thus, it was instructive to conduct a technique capable of quantitatively mapping out patterns and networks in a larger set of bibliometric data. So once again, you can see that the words are being used interchangeably: quantitative, bibliometric, science mapping, scientometric. They are all talking about the same thing. Indeed, science mapping, which others call it visualizing bibliometric network, has become a suitable tool used by researchers for describing and diagonizing large collections of bibliometric data for several purposes. So here, what I was supposed to do with respect to the other paper is that if you are choosing scientometric, not systematic or scoping or any other literary review technique, you need to tell us why. So here, what I will tell you, anytime you are putting anything in your paper, there must be a reason for putting the thing into your paper. You must have a reason. Okay, so these are the purposes. The approach addresses the challenges associated with manual reviews. Manual reviews, he's actually talking about systematic review. When trying to map the working linkages of researchers, keywords, countries, and research outlets within a research domain. So in a situation where you have so many researchers, you have, let's say, 50,000 researchers that you are dealing with, you have 150,000 words. How are you going to sit down to map all these things and relate them? There'll be a need for a software or a technique which can help you to do that. And that is where the science mapping techniques, including the word being used interchangeably, the scientometric and bibliometric will come in. Although science mapping is broadly classified into three major techniques comprising of informatics, bibliometric, and scientometric analysis. So good. So studies. So the study here, who did he cite? Husseini, who did critical evaluation of site construction research. He explained that there are three types of science mapping: informatics, bibliometric, and scientometric. So he explained them by giving the difference. So when you get time, you can read to get to know more about them. Which that's not the focus of my video, so I'll not spend too much time going into the three of them. But for the last two, bibliometric and scientometric, I've mentioned to you that they are used interchangeably. So don't get confused. They are the same. I would say almost the same or the same. Similar. Okay, then what again? The latter approach satisfies the objective and tenet of the current study. In other words, he is saying that because of the explanations given to the different types of science mapping, he believes that the scientometric is better for this research or for what he wants to look at. Indeed, these techniques are overlapping. Good. So this is what I wanted to, and thank God he has mentioned it. He has hammered on it. This is all that I wanted to tell you. All this. But I've been talking since the beginning of this video. I've been talking. This is what I wanted to highlight on. Indeed, these techniques are overlapping, but can also be applied independently. That sums up what I wanted to say. That's it. So they overlap. They are used interchangeably. So somebody, you take a paper which is saying bibliometric, but actually you look at it as scientometric. So like the words and the this are used interchangeably. So don't get yourself confused when you look at an article and someone is saying scientometric, and then you go and look at the content and he has done bibliometric, or it's bibliometric and scientometric. So there's nothing like that. Don't get confused. They are the same. While the bibliometric analysis seeks to scientifically map the literature per se, while the bibliometric analysis seeks to scientifically map the literature per se, scientometric analysis extends the bibliometric analysis to encompass the measurement and analysis of the network of the researchers, institutions, and countries within the literature. Okay, so the difference, which I think one of the things I showed to you initially, they also almost say the same thing. So analysis is mathematics and mathematical and statistical analysis. Only mathematical and statistical analysis. But the scientometric will go ahead and look at other things in addition to what the bibliometric can do. So in other words, we can say that the bibliometric review is a subset of the scientometric review. But once again, the two of them can be used interchangeably. As noted by Husseini, 2020, a scientometric analysis deploys bibliometric data, techniques, and methods to scientifically map the literature. This one, there was no need for him to say this. some of the things I also understand him. This article too, when he also wrote this article, I think that time too, he was also so some of the things he over explained them. But so now that we know the scientometric review technique that we are using, we need to go ahead and talk about the tools. Okay, because I mentioned that with a scientometric review, it's not, we don't do it manually. There's a software. We have a number of softwares that can help you to do that. We have a number of research tools, data analysis tools that can help you to do the scientometric. You don't have to do it manually because the number of articles that you are looking at is very big. And with that big or large article, you don't have to do anything manual, which will waste all your time. Okay, so you see several software tools have been developed to scientifically map literature with wider coverage. While some of these tools are developed for general science mapping, some have specialized application within the science mapping philosophy. Again, so here, what we are interested in is that we need to choose a suitable tool because we have a number of software that can undertake scientometric or bibliometric analysis. So which one is suitable as far as your work is concerned, or which one are you okay with? It's not only sometimes even suitable, but the one that you have an upper hand over it that you can use. Okay, so a number of them, I don't want to waste too much time reading everything. I'll just go straight to the point. So the adoption of a tool will require awareness of all these things. Whilst SciNet Explorer, SciSpace, Gephi, Bib, Excel, Vintage Point, and VoiceViewer exist as common and popular software tools for science mapping. VoiceViewer was selected to map the scientific brain building research. Okay, so he's just trying to say that there are a number of software that can be used to do the scientometric analysis. And he has mentioned some of them here. But among them, he decided to choose the VoiceViewer. And because he has decided to take one of the tools out of the numerous or the so many other tools that are available, here too, once again, you have to explain to us, or you have to give us reasons as to why it is good that the VoiceViewer or the tool that you have chosen is the best among the rest. You need to give us a course. You need to give us a reason. Okay, so he went ahead to do that. So what are the reasons? One, he said VoiceViewer is an open source software tool. So that's one of the reasons. The tool offers sufficient features for visualizing bibliometric network and will scientifically map in the literature. The text mining tool is uniquely designed for visualizing and analyzing bibliometric networks and has been deployed by previous researchers for scientometric reviews. For instance, in the construction management research domain, VoiceViewer has been used to map knowledge in offsite construction, building control, building information modeling, and public-private partnership. Therefore, or thus, VoiceViewer was considered sufficient enough to achieve the objectives of the study. So he didn't just choose the VoiceViewer, but he ended up, or he went ahead to give very good reasons why the VoiceViewer is better. But mind you, if you decide to choose any other, like SciSpace, Gephi, Bixx, Vintage, I know how to use the SciSpace and Gephi in addition to the VoiceViewer. So if you were to choose Gephi, you have to tell us the reason why. You have to tell us the reason why. Okay? You can't just give us something and then you go. We need to show us why it's important that the Gephi or the VoiceViewer is better. Okay, so now we know the tool, or we know the technique that we are going to use to undertake the scientometric review. Now we go to the selection of data. So now you have the two. Just like any software all over the world, you need to feed the software with data or information. Software don't work by themselves. Software, which in this context I would say AI, artificial intelligence tools, they don't work by themselves. You need to feed them. You need to feed them with information before they can work. Just like the normal computer or laptops that we use. If you don't put in data or you don't key in something, you won't get your output. So the same thing here. So now you have the tool, you need to feed the tool with information or data. So where do we get the data from? That is where this thing that we saw when we're doing the systematic review will come in. So once again, please, if you have not watched the systematic review videos, go back and watch them. And if you have questions, come back and ask me. So that, because this is just a continuation of the systematic review. So if you didn't understand the systematic review, it's possible you may get this thing, you may find it very difficult to understand this one as well. So selection of database. So where do we get the information from so that we can feed the tool with information? There are a number of them, but the ones which are very popular in the construction management research community, the ones which are common, they are one, Scopus and Web of Science. So here he mentioned them, but he even went ahead to even choose one of them. He didn't even use the two of them. The question that somebody will ask is it possible you can use the two of them? Yes. You can decide to use the two of them and compare the results. And based on the results, you can choose to present the results from one of them, which you think is okay, so that you can continue with your analysis. Okay, so we have Scopus and Web of Science. They are the two common databases that index construction management research publications. While the two offers comprehensive platforms for extracting bibliometric data, the number of publications indexed in these two databases on the same research area tend to differ. In this study, Scopus was selected because it had wider coverage of the research publications and included more recent bibliometric data compared to Web of Science and Google Scholar. So that's according to him, but somebody may also undertake this kind of preliminary analysis and then come to a conclusion that is a Web of Science that's the best, or the Google Scholar that's the best. So it depends on you, it depends on some kind of initial analysis that you undertake, and then you choose one of the databases. Then he also went ahead to say, again, previous reviews in construction management engineering research have deployed bibliometric data from Scopus, particularly what you offer network analysts the opportunity to import bibliometric data from Web of Science, Scopus dimensions, PubMed, race, cross. In other words, all these Web of Science, Scopus dimensions, PubMed, RIS, that's research information systems, cross references or cross-ref, JSON, and cross-ref API. They are all databases where you can extract data from. So the choice of Scopus was consistent with acceptable file format of WebViewer version 1.69. We just explain why. So now we know the two. Now we know where we are going to take the data from. Now we have to take the data. Now is the time that you have to really, really, really take the data. So what do you want? What do you need in this database? Okay, I have shown this to you before in the systematic, but I'm going to show the same thing to you again. It's the same. So Western Sydney University, I'm going to use my UNIS library. All right. And everything. I acknowledge that. Yes. Okay. Then go to Scopus. Looking for Scopus. Looking for Scopus. Good. So let's assume I'm trying to look for data on green buildings. Shown this to you in the systematic review. It's the same. It's not different. There's nothing new here. But the only difference that we are going to see here is that here, instead of filtering and taking some articles and all that from it, some of them we leave them as they are, and then we work on them later on. So green buildings. So when I put in green buildings, this is the number of articles I'm getting. Plenty. 8,000. I'm getting 8,800. So if I'm going to analyze all these data, I can't do it manually, and I can't use systematic review. I have to use green Scientometric. Wow. Hey, Vivian Tam is among the one of the top. Our own Vivian Tam, Professor Vivian Tam. Okay, so the same. So as you can see here, you put in your keywords. I don't want to spend too much time explaining so many things here because some of the things I've already explained them in the other video. So if I continue to do that, we'll be spending too much time and wasting too much time. So just look for the keywords, just like how we did it in the systematic review. Then you put in the keywords, you put the keywords into the search engine or the database, and it will generate, when you search, you generate something like this for you. Okay, then the next thing that you're supposed to do is where the need be, you can decide to filter it, or you can decide to download all. But here I will filter to articles and reviews. And the articles and reviews, I want to filter it to the source being journal. I want only journal articles. Okay. And then the language, I want only English. But I'll limit the search. And I'm having 4,290 articles. Okay. So with this 4,290, I'm also concerned I will download this. Is that okay? Okay, so it's the same. I don't want us to waste too much time here because these things are already explained them to you. So this session, I'm not going to spend too much time. You just look for keywords which are related to your topic. The keywords must be related to the topic that you're trying to write about, and then you put them into the search engine to generate a number of articles. Then you decide to filter them. Filter them maybe based on language, the articles, journals, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then finally you get some number of articles. And here, when he did all that, the total number of 1,147 as of September 2018, the set articles met all the restrictions. The bibliometric data was downloaded in two formats, comma separated values, and then IRS. But however, the CSV was imported to view assembly. Normally, it's good to use the CSV. So the CSV will give you all the things because the IRS will not give you the needed items. So how do you download it? If I was going to download like what he did, you select all, and then you select on export. Okay, so this is the IRS that he talked about. This is the CSV. Then once you do that, I'll select everything here, Yeah. Then I'm also going to click on export. I don't want to export it. The, the data size is too large for me to export. Too big. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on to the next one, the next step. The next step, which is the final step as far as the methodology, the research methodology is concerned, is the analytical procedure. How do you analyze? So with respect to the analysis, once again, this is where the voice viewer. So the voice viewer is a literature review data analysis tool. Analysis. It's not a voice viewer that will help you to extract the data from the database, but rather it will help you to analyze what you have extracted from the database. Okay, after importing the bibliometric data software, blah, 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 and all that. Okay. First, the voice viewer functionality create map based on this. So I'm going to introduce you to the voice viewer. So please, everyone, you can decide to, everyone should do this. Do this and install it on your computer or your laptop. Voice viewer is free. And I think it's free everywhere, irrespective of where you are around the world. It's free. You search for voice viewer. It's free. You don't pay for it. Then you click on this. You come to their homepage, and then wow, what's the latest? Okay, since January 2022, they have not. Is there a new one? Next edition of them. I think maybe they'll release one soon because they have been updating the software. Okay, so if you can see the update is here 1.617, 1.1, 1.616, the 1.618. So the current version is the 1.618. Okay, so here you download. I'm not going to download it because once again, I have it. So if I download, it's going to be a duplicate. So you click on it. When you click on downloads version, I think it will ask you the kind of, yeah, good here. So ask you the kind of laptop or computer that you are using. Is it MacBook? Is it related to iOS? Or is normal Microsoft stuff? My machine is Microsoft. My laptop is Microsoft. But if yours is a MacBook, you have to click on the MacBook or any other version. You click and it will download it for you. I'm going to show you one of them. Oops. This 9 has corrupted. If corrupted, then I have to download a new one. Let me try first. Oops. Corrupted. So let me download it. Unfortunately, I have to download it because it says another one has corrupted. Okay, so download it. Then you click open to open it up. Then you click on voice viewer application. It will ask you extract or run. You can click on extract or run. You can just go ahead and run. Okay. Then, yeah, it's running for you. So running, it will open. Good. So I have so this is the software. See how it is? Good. So this is the software. And then if you want to create anything, so he said something in he said, after importing, and the other one is not corrupted, it's not opened. After importing the bibliometric data into the software, the analysis was conducted in different stages, followed by cross-checking to ensure consistency and reliability. Firstly, The first viewer functionality to create a map based on bibliometric data was used to create networks of journal citations, keywords, co-authorship, and blah blah blah. Depth from the total citations, average citations, normalized citations, average normalized citation, links and total link strings of authors, articles, and countries were recorded. Maps were created to illustrate the networks, and accompanying tables were created to quantitatively summarize the numerical metrics of the networks. Secondly, the voice viewer functionality to create a map based on text data was deployed to generate a map of text of terms. And the terms co-occurrence is based on the text data. This step was used to create a map of the main green building research areas. I know all these things. I'll show you soon. The keywords were analyzed and grouped into main research areas. These are shown in figure 8. Finally, the outputs were refined and reported in the result and discussion sessions of the papers. That's great. Okay, so I want to show you something. Then I come to his results, and you see that his results, most of the results are just like the Scientometric, the systematic review paper that we submitted. They are almost the same. You won't see much difference, just what you results. So okay, so now you have this software. You have downloaded your data. So how do you put the data into the software that you can run? So here you come to create. You click on create, and create, you click on create a map based on network data. Sorry, create a map based on bibliographic data. Bibliographic data is the same as, or the same use as bibliometric. Okay, yeah. So this is like the first one is when you have network data, normally from semantic analysis and all that, which we don't have currently. So we rather have CSV, Excel, IRS, and Co. So that's what we are going to use. Okay, so you click on next. And then when you click on next, it will bring you to read data from bibliographic database files, read from reference manager files. And so these are the bibliographic database types. That's categorized the whole thing into 3. Okay, reference manager files through API, and then through the normal bibliographic databases files. So where or how did you save your data? And what data I'm talking about, or am I talking about? I'm talking about this data that we downloaded from the Scopus, the one I told you to export. Yeah, I have some of them there, so we are going to use it now. So let me focus on some. Let me say I need only, okay, let me use this one, but this I want to use few. I don't want to use too much. Let's say I'm going to concentrate on articles written between from 2001 till now. Only I need only because then there are I mean 4,000 plus. I'm not going to download all the 4,000 plus articles. There are too many for me. I'm just going to concentrate on 3 years. For the past 3 years, the articles which have been written on green buildings. It's 1,168. Okay, cool. I think I can download all. And just to show you, this is not what we are doing. With respect to, I was looking at the time and everything. I think it's good I do a second video, which I'll concentrate on only what we are supposed to write. So a second video will come. So this one is just a general tutorial I'm giving to you as far as Scientometric review is concerned. So I download, this thing goes down, CSV. I have my CSV downloading. It will take some time because the size is big. It's still downloading. Downloading. Okay, now I have it. So download it to here. Okay. Yeah. You can just leave it as it is, or you can decide to rename the file or whatever. That one is not even important. It's not really something that is important. So we decide to take it from here to next, and then to ask you specifically, where did you take this from? So we got this data from Scopus, no Web of Science. Okay, so I just come here. I'll go to my downloads. That's where I put the article. That's where I put the downloaded data. That's where the data downloaded came to. So my Scopus 4. So that's how the Scopus, that's it for Scopus 4. But you can decide to rename it. Okay, rename it. Whatever, it's up to you. Okay, I click OK. So now I've uploaded the data from the Scopus. I click on next. So now the analysis is beginning. So we are going to now do the analysis, the actual analysis. It's going to give us an interface which will show us the kind of analysis that you want to undertake. Which of them? I'm going to spend some few minutes to explain each of them to you briefly. Okay. Yeah. It's taking some time because the database is big. If you have a database of 500 going 1,000, you may encounter something like this. And if it is about 2,000, 3,000, sometimes it takes some time before everything to the software will be able to read everything. Good. That's it. So these are the types of analysis which we are going to write about, which papers or previous articles they have written about in their articles. These are the types of analysis. We can decide to do co-authorship analysis. The co-authorship analysis, when we're doing the systematic review, I told you we can do what we call author score. Author score. And if you look at my previous articles, I've done the same. The contributions of authors to a particular topic. So here, instead of doing it manually, the software can help you to do this thing. It's called co-authorship analysis. So let's do one briefly to that. So co-authorship, in other words, we are trying to look at how authors have collaborated with. Okay, so what we have to do is that we can do co-authorship analysis. So with respect to the co-authorship analysis, what we are going to do is to look at how the authors work with other authors to come out with their research output, which we normally term as collaboration. So if you look at my articles, for example, I have collaborated with a number of researchers, including my own supervisors. So I didn't write it on my own. So far, is there any article I've written that you see only my name? No. Almost all the articles I've written, you see that other authors are also there. So we are trying to look at how authors collaborate, or how they work with other people, how they work, they come together to work on a project. Is this something that they do? They are good at it, or it's not something that they are working on? Because if you are a researcher who doesn't get along with other people, it's going to be very difficult to go far. You have to do your best to get along with other people so that you can achieve lots as far as research is concerned. Because you can't do all the things by your own, or you can't do everything by your own. Sometimes you have to work with other people if you want to achieve a lot. So, that's the first one. So I'll click on it. You click on this, then it here you see the maximum number of authors per document. So how many authors per document do you think you can select? Yeah, it's just asking you, because there are some articles that you see the authors are many. Recently, a friend of mine was part of a paper which was written. It's called Brighter Hinkra. And with him, he collaborated with some authors. Look at the number of authors. Can you see the the number of authors? I think this is more than 25. With this, the documents may not be included in this analysis. So the maximum number of authors per document. Okay. In construction management, mostly we don't do that, but in the science field, it's common, where so many researchers come together to undertake a project. But in construction management, maybe 10 maximum that I have seen, 10, 4, 5, 3, yes. Okay, then from here, so that's the default. It's a default, the 25 default, so just leave it as it is, then move on. Then the default here, the next one is within still the co-authorship, it will give you the minimum number of documents of an author. So if you want an author to be part of this analysis, how many papers do you think that author should have in order to be part of it? If you say 5, to me, 5 is too high because, especially concerning a particular, well, it's possible, but with a particular topic, I think making it 5 is too big, especially if the topic is not that well known, or even if it's well known, it's possible not many people have written on that topic. So let me also leave it 5. It's good, but you can reduce it. If I leave it as 5, the default, that means 3,326 authors meet that threshold. Of the 3,326 authors, so only 73 meet the threshold, which I think it to be too small to analyze. So let me reduce it to 2. At least an author should have 2 articles on this topic, and that would be 556. Minimum number of citations, this one too, I'll leave it as it is, because we have a citation analysis of authors, which we will see later on. So to me, we can leave it. But if you want to do it too, in fact, as far as this session is concerned, most of the things, or I would say everything, is based on your own discretion, based on your own decision. Whatever threshold you want to set to do this analysis is acceptable. Okay, so I'll click on next, and then next. Oh, I jumped. So it's once again the 556, which we got from the previous, because I set it at 2. It's just showing here. It's just showing that there's there's a relationship between them, and because of the relationship, because of these relationships, the software is going to generate some outputs, another output to show us the strength in terms of, it's giving us numerical strength between the authors. So Liu, why has written, or is related to, either he has written or he's related to 20 articles, and he has received 103 citations, and his total length strength is 57. So the question that somebody may ask is, at this point, if I want to export this information, because in your in the Word document, you're supposed to write about some of these things. So how do you go about it? So you click, if you want to export, you click on, you right click, and these things will come. So it will ask you, are you going to export selected authors, or you want to export everything? Okay. If you want everything, any of them that you click on, it will help you to export. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. We'll come to that one later on, because I need to show you the results. And when I'm showing the results, these are some of the things that I have to show to you. So you click on this and click on finish. But when you are going to finish, now it will tell you that some of the 556 items in your network are not connected. In other words, they don't have either no relationship, or the relationship between them and other authors are not that strong. But the ones which have very strong relationships are 359 out of the 556. So do you want to show this set of items instead of all the items? Normally, you say yes. If you say no, it will show you the 556. Okay, let me do the 2 so that you get it. So when you say yes, this is how the results will come. Later I'll come and show you the no. So good. So this is the results. You get it. So it's showing you can see the relationships, or the relationship between them. You get it. You get it. Okay, so all the things that you see, the links, is just telling you the relationships. Okay. These relationships, you can decide to present them in different ways. This is a network in terms of how related they are. You can also look at this from the overlay, and then you can also look at this from the density. Any of them that you present is acceptable. Well, I'll also explain this one later on when we come to the results, because the results are section 2. They are there. Now, let me show you what I was telling you. In case I decide to say no, what will happen? Yeah, I decide to say no. What's going to be my answer or result if I say no? So if I say no, but I want, no means you want to show all the 556. So let's see what will happen. So this is how it's supposed to come if you are showing all the 556. So you see the ones which are related, the 356, you can see that they have been clustered, or they have been put together in the middle. Whilst those that are not really related to them, they are outside their domain, or they're outside their circles. Ayakwa. Hey, this one is like Ghanaian. Ajikum. I think it will be your Professor Ajikum. Tam. Okay. These people are also good in green buildings and all that, but they don't have relationship, strong relationship with these people here. Okay. Anyway, so that is how the thing works. Then the next one is, otherwise, if I want to show institutions, so it's still the co-authorship, I can decide to show the organization where the authors are coming from. Maybe they are from University of Ghana, KNUST, University of London, New York University, whatever, Tokyo University, where the authors are coming from. You can also decide to show them the organization. Let me show you one. So minimum of 5, only 4. If you are talking about a minimum of number of documents from your organization is 2. In other words, let's say KNUST, professors that have written at least 2 articles on green building. So you can see Department of Construction and Technology. Hey, is that KNUST? I think so. Hey, KNUST is the leading. Yeah, and if I'm not wrong, this one doesn't come properly. Yeah, I'm right. Wow. So KNUST is within the last 3 years, KNUST, your department has been or is being the leading department or organization which has been writing papers on green buildings. Wow. KNUST. Well done, KNUST. So if you click on that, and this one is only 7 that are related, but one I don't know. I want to show all the 148. What will happen? So you see, it's showing the departments or schools that are writing about green buildings. And then your department is standing out with a big bubble. The bubbles show the strength or the extent of influence of a department or a word or whatever we are going to see later on. Okay. So wow, kudos to KNUST. Your professors are doing a great job. Well done. KNUST. Woo. Okay, so that's for organization. You want to know where the authors were coming from as far as the organization. Please, once again, I'll go into details. So this one is just a preliminary result, just for you to have an idea about how to use the software. So everybody practice it. And if you need data, contact me. Some of these things I mentioned to you, some of the things I won't force you to do it. Never. But if you contact me, I'll help you out because it's not part of what we are doing. So if you want to know more and you want to practice, I'll encourage you to practice. If you don't also want to practice this too, that's fine. But I think it will be good to practice the thing. So if you want data to practice, you can reach out to me. I'll give you some of the data for you to do that. You can also decide to find out where, so the type of analysis, the units of analysis. So the type of analysis is, these are the types. But within that analysis, what do you want? So first, we look at the authors. Second, we look at the organization. Now, we want to know where the authors, the countries that they are coming from. Remember, we did some geographical analysis of the articles. So we want to know where the articles were coming from or the authors came from. So if we decide to at least one, at least one article from. So China is leading, followed by Australia, UK, US, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, India, and all that. And we did this thing as well. Okay, we did that graphical analysis. So I want to say yes, because here is having a strong, oh wow. So here it seems there's a strong relationships, or there's a strong relationship, or there are strong relationships between the authors, the co-authors, in terms of the countries where they are coming from. So the authors from US, UK, China, and co, they really work together in terms of producing articles on green buildings. That's what it's trying to tell. And China is the leading one. That's why they have the biggest bubble, followed by Australia, UK, and all that. Later on, I'll explain other things also to you. So that's it. So we know all the things about the authors. Now let's come to the co-occurrence. The co-occurrence analysis is actually purely about the keywords. The keywords, any article that you pick, you see keywords. Let me show you one. Any article that you come across in this world, you see keywords. And in fact, authors are always encouraged to present keywords of their research. The keywords, in a way, give a summary. Oh, this one is not showing. Which article? Yeah, so these are the keywords. So the keywords, in a way, help anyone who wants to read about your article to know the key issues that you talk about. Okay, at least by looking at the keywords of an article, I can say that, okay, the article is about this or it's about that. Is that okay? Okay, so we move on. We move to the analysis I was talking about, keywords. So what kind of keywords? You can decide to use all keywords. The keywords, whatever, but we have two types. We have author keyword. Author keywords are normally the keywords you see here. Okay, and then all keywords are keywords that the software will just pick. Because the software will read the document, and then we just pick words or words that appeared common, or they occurred or they appeared most times in the articles. That's all the keywords. And the author keywords are the ones which appear here. The one I showed to you right now, about with this one. That's the author keywords. And then we have the index keywords. So let me go and explain it to you. Index keywords are chosen. Okay, so the index keywords are chosen by Scopus and are standardized with vocabularies delivered from thesaurus that Elsevier owns or lines. In other words, this is unlike other keywords. Index keywords take into account synonyms, various spellings, and plurals. Okay, so this one I would say the index keywords is more of the ones that the particular software that you are using is choosing for you. All the keywords, they are more of all the things that will appear, words which keep on appearing and appearing and appearing and appearing in the article or in the articles. But the index ones are normally the ones which are standardized or which are picked by the particular software that you are using. With all the keywords, they can occur in all of them. Whether you use voice viewer and the database is coming from Scopus, or it's coming from Web of Science, or it's coming from all of them will come there. But with the index one, specifically where the database is coming from, or specifically the software that you use, will help you to generate that kind of index keywords. Okay, good. So first we'll use all the keywords. Any word that kept on appearing in the articles, we want to see or want to know the word that kept on appearing. We want to know it. Okay, so and then after that, we'll come and do other keywords and index keywords so that you will get to know all of them. So here, the number of keywords, all keywords that kept on appearing in the articles, the total is 8,179 keywords, but only 546 meet the threshold. The threshold means that at least that keyword must appear at least 5 times. I want to reduce it to 2. Okay, no, let me go back. Let me make it 3. 4. Okay, 4. Let's make it 4. You can decide to set it at anything that you are okay with. So the keywords that kept on appearing are green building, sustainable development, green building, energy efficiency. These are the words that kept on appearing. So let's see how they will appear here fantastically. That is how some will come up. Boom. Okay. Yeah. And so to show it. This is just a visualization, means how to display, demonstrate. You can decide to use the density or overlay, you can use the network, any of them. The analysis is the same. So we're just trying to tell us that around looking at the colors, more studies were conducted, yellow, green, conducted between 2001, or most papers were published in around this month, 2021 June, 2021 August. So the green one here, that's what I can see. And the yellow appear them small. Anyway, we look at the other one. And the other one is author keywords. So next, here to do the same thing. Okay, next, and then finish. So here you can set choose yes or no based on what you want to get. So most of the things are based on your own description. So the word keyword will be appeared because, of course, if you're an author and you're writing about keywords and in your author keyword list and you don't put green buildings there, then I don't know what you are writing about. So no wonder it is so big here. Okay, novel building, green building, climate change, machine learning, existing building, evolutionary game. And the last one is the index one. Let's see what the index is also telling us. So with the index, I'll make it this at least 2,000-ish. Okay. So green buildings, energy efficiency, sustainability, Chanel survey. Yeah. So multi-objective optimization, energy performance, solar energy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We move on to the next type of analysis. And that is citation. So here, if you remember, I think Franklina did the citation. I made you do the citation analysis. Here too, you have to show us the number of citations that the documents have received. How many citations have they received? In other words, how many people have cited the article that the articles that you are working on? So you can decide to look at the citations from documents, which is the articles themselves. You can also look at the citations from the journals, like the journals that the articles are coming from. How many people cite that journal's articles? For example, if you take something like KUST or Legon, you say, how many people really like people who attend KUST, or people who attend Legon, or people who attend UMass? or people who attend UDS, or people who attend London School of Business, or people who attend Western Sydney University. So the source, the university, or where it's and then authors, the citations, like which of the authors have really received citations, and that is where this is the one. Google Scholar is the best place to help you to know author citation score. So here in Google Scholar profile, everybody Google Scholar profile, you get to know how many people have cited whoever. So like me in my Google Scholar profile, if you look at others like Robert Osechi, he has a number of citations. Okay, Amos Dakon, many citations. So Wuni, you get it. So it depends on. So this is what we call author citation, that individual author. So which of the authors within the green building domain have received so many citations, and the software will help you to know that. It will help you to get to know. Then we have organization, which in this case like KNUST or Legon or whatever university on Poly U maybe have received. Then countries, the citation can also give you citations on which country has received more citations. Maybe articles coming from China have received more citations than articles coming from Netherlands. Okay. So let's start with the document. Please, you are supposed to read other things. I'll use the word, I can't explain everything now. Let me use the word. Even though I'm not supposed to do that, but the reason being that as you watch these videos, you need to read articles to make the thing practical, because what I'm doing now is somehow theoretical. So you need to really read articles where people applied this thing I'm teaching you to that, so that you understand that, okay, that's fine. That's why even though I'm using this one, that's still not enough. Using one of the articles as a guide, but to me it's still enough. Read more. Okay, read more so that you understand it. Good. Okay, so in terms of documents, these are the articles that people have really cited as far as the green building is concerned, and 158 work together well. Okay, so so people who cite, it's like people who cite some of these articles, likely including Amperchum. Hey, course life has come in. Okay. Yeah, okay. People who cite this are likely to cite other people as well, which later on we'll do is called co-citation. But we'll look at that one as well. So we look at this, the source journals, in terms of the journals. We can look at the citations from the journal's point of view. Here, I'll take number one. All of them. So these are the articles, the journals: the Sustainability Building, Journal of Cleaner Production, Journal of Energy and Buildings, Building and Environment, Journal of Building. So these are where green buildings articles are published. Or if you have any green building article that you have put together, this is where you have to look at. These are the journals. They publish articles on green buildings. That's cool. And 113 are working together well. We can decide to show all of them, but I'm going to show you three. Okay, good. So those people who take their articles to sustainability, they are likely to take it to sustainable energy and technologies, energy and building, environment, general energy storage, green building. Okay, good. Now we move on to the next one. Oh, we have 23 minutes more to go, and that's authors. Okay, so with respect to the authors, we want to know authors which have received a lot of citations when it comes to green building. And the minimum number of documents of an author should be 2. At least 2. Okay, let's see. So these are the authors who have really received a number of citations. Yeah. on green buildings. I just, some of them, I would say I almost, I don't know them. Anyway, I'm not supposed to know them. So, and then organizations. This is where, so at least one article or two, should I make it two? Let me make it one. To come from an organization. Next, quality of environment, which is that I think, okay, Malaysia. Okay. Okay. In terms of the citation, even though KUST, your department has produced so many articles when we're looking at this from the article point of view, but people have not really cited articles from the department. Even though, yes, people in your department have produced a number of articles on green building, but people are not cited. And to me, the reason why maybe people are not citing that, I will not cite the word racism, but I think sometimes I'm a reviewer, I'm an editor, and all that. I think the reason why people don't cite, I could say from Ghana or from any particular country, that sometimes people see it to be like it's too narrow in the scope. It's not because of racism or because people don't like research outputs from Africa or something, but it has to do with the thing is narrow in nature. And because your work is just about Ghana. If you extend it to maybe Africa, that's okay. If it's extended to other parts of the world, that's okay. Normally, what I've seen is that people prefer to read articles from a global point of view. Yeah, global point, because sometimes people think that, oh, if this is from Ghana, and I mean, let's say in Uganda, what concept? How does that thing affect me? But anyway, it all depends on the person who is citing. There are many factors that people look at, so I cannot put everything in the box. So yeah. So you click on finish, then go. And it's only KUST. We have most of the study Africa and developing countries. And that's where sometimes people try to put in some of these things like racism, we are disadvantaged and all that into it. But anyway, Department of Construction, even still, I think your department is still here. Department of Construction, Technology, yeah, management, yeah, they still feature prominently. Now we look at it from the point of country. From the country point of view, we want to know articles from countries which have been highly cited. And so far, there are, okay, it's only 91 countries that meet this threshold. China, Australia, and I think Ghana should come in somewhere. Ghana should definitely come in somewhere. Yeah, Ghana is not there. I don't know if it goes from Ghana. Anyway, once again, this goes to confirm what I said. Even though many articles are coming from our country, but people don't really cite them. So yes, yeah, because there are many of the articles that we look at. Most of them came from Ghana and even African countries. But you can see, when it comes to citation, people don't really cite. Okay, we go to the next unit of the next type of analysis. It's called bibliographic coupling. So what is it? So let's read it from here. Bibliographic couple. So couple. So it's just a matter of matching. So bibliographic, okay, when two works reference a common third work in their bibliographics. Maybe David has written an article. I have also written an article, and they are about green buildings, and we all cited when two works reference a common third work in there. A common third work. So the two of us, David and I, we all wrote an article. Then we reference somebody like Dr. Amos Darko or Wuni in our articles. So that's the kind of, so we are trying to look at that kind of relationship. So it's an indication that the probability exists that the two works treat a related subject matter. Two documents are bibliographically coupled if they both cite one or more documents in common. Is that okay? Yeah, so when we cite documents in common, then it's called bibliographic. Most studies don't do that. Or most of the articles that I have read don't just show this, but you can decide to show it. So unit of analysis, you can try to look at this from the document point of view. You can also decide to look at this from the general point of view, because maybe Journal of Cleaner Production and Sustainability. You can see that two articles which were written in this article, they all cited maybe Journal of Engineering, Construction, and Architectural Management, ECAM, and authors. Authors I've already explained. I've used myself and David as an example. Then you can look at this from organization point of view. Maybe articles written in University of Ghana, engineering department, and KNUST, your department, they all cite work coming from Hong Kong Polytechnic University. That's what we call bibliographic coupling. Then countries, two countries can cite a third country. Or research work coming from two countries can cite, it's a sign of an influence that the third party has on the other two works. Co-citation is also about units of analysis, cited references, cited sources, and cited authors. Okay, so what is the meaning? Let's try and look at it. So what's the meaning of co-citation? Okay. Co-citation occurs when two documents receive a citation from the same third document. Author co-citation analysis provide insight into how authors, as domain experts, connect ideas between published works. Okay, when they receive. So this one is just, I would say, it's a reverse or opposite of the bibliographic coupling, kind of. Not really the case, but kind of. Okay, yeah, it's just opposite of how a third party will reference others, instead of the other way where the bibliographic coupling is two parties rather referencing the other thing. So the two of them, they work together. So most studies don't really worry themselves doing bibliographic coupling. What I've seen is most studies dwell on the first three, and then maybe they decide to choose one of these things, one of them. They don't do all. Now let's come to the meaning of full counting. Full counting here means that you bring everything, like the full article, the articles fully being analyzed. Fractional. Let's look at the meaning. Okay. Fractional counting means that a co-authored publication is assigned fractionally to each of the co-authors, with the overall weight of the publication being equal to 1. So this one is also a little bit of mathematical. With the full authorship or the full with the full counting, we assume all the authors are 1. We assume that's an assumption. And the second one, we assume that when it comes to the contributions of the authors, it's supposed to be divided. Okay, this is more of a network analysis, which the software will do it for you. You don't have to worry your head about it. Yes. So I think, for example, they're just trying to show something here, something like this. Okay, which if you are doing manually, you are supposed to do that. But in this case with the voice viewer, that problem has been solved. It will just do that for you. So normally I choose full counting instead of fractional counting. But if you are going to choose fractional counting, you must give a reason why you think the fractional counting should be used. And the fractional and the full counting can be used for any of these analyses, all of them. So these are the units of analysis and the main types of analysis, and then under them, we have these things that will pop up. If you click on it, these ones will pop up. Is that okay? Yes, and even the full counting, I don't think it's all of them that have full counting. Let me check. It's only the bibliographic coupling, and then okay, the citations don't have. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because the citation people are citing here, okay. So I think that's all for now, as far as this software's analysis is concerned, in a theoretical point of view. Now I will introduce you briefly into some of the results, and then in my next video, because the time is almost up, in my next video, I will take you through, or will read aspects of the results together, and then I'll go ahead to introduce you to the work that we are supposed to do, actual work that we are supposed to do, and how I'll come up with the results that we use to do our analysis. Okay, so when you are presenting the results, this is how you are supposed to present it. So the first one is annual publication trend. And I explained this thing to you in the systematic review. It's the same. So you are just showing how articles have been published for the past so and so years. So you can get that one from here without even going to touch the Excel sheet. So you go to show, okay, analyze search results. You get a basic one from there. Now something okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, problem. Okay. Okay. So with this one, you click on analyze search results. Let's see how to show. It will give us some basic analysis as we did this for the systematic review. One of them is to give you the annual per year publication. So here you can pick the information from here straight away, and then just put it there and then show. Okay, and then other basics are document by type, document by subject area, document by country, document by funding sponsor, and then document per year per source. That was he's talking about the in terms of the journal publication. Yeah. So that is the, or you can decide to come here, open the Excel sheets, and it will show you all the, they are here. Oh yeah. So you can decide to pick them from here. Here, you just select and then go and put it in the different select paste. Yeah, so you can select, and then now you come and put all the 2023 together, then you put all the 2022 together, then you put all the 2021 together. Because I downloaded 3 years. Then you get to know the number of, but as I said, in order not to waste too much of your time, the Scopus database has this feature which you can click on analyze search results, and it will just give you the preliminary results which you can easily pick. So when you put your cursor on it, in 2021, it will give you the total number of articles, 2022, 2023. So you don't waste too much time on it. You don't need to. I don't think you have to. Even 2023 that we just started, already 58 articles of green buildings have been published. Wow. January. Let me see. So by the end of the. Okay. So you just present that and you explain. And if you look at my review papers, I've given thorough explanations as to what annual publication trend is concerned. You see them there. Then the next analysis that you are supposed to do, which is going to be the last one for today, then okay, then I think because of the time, please let me concentrate on the annual publication trend. I'll continue from here in my next video. That's the science mapping of research. In other words, the journals. You analyze the journals. You explain the journals and how you analyze them using the Scientometric. Okay, so I'll start from here next time. Then continue and then come to our work. So let me explain the annual publication trend again. I'm going to read it and explain it. So this is what he said. Although the concept of green building has been advanced for several decades, it appears green building research publications and construction journals dates to the last 2 decades. The study recruited a total of 1,147 published green building articles between 1992 and 2018. The bibliometric data retrieval query was time unconstrained, but the earliest publication in the construction journal appeared to be in 1992. In other words, what he's trying to say is that he didn't put any constraints on, even though he set the target that I want to get articles between 1989 and 2018. It appeared, the results that came out showed that actually the first paper, prominent paper on green building appeared in 1992. It's actually 1992. That's based on his results. Similarly, in the review of Darko and Chan, the reference year was found to be 1998, although the assessed span between 1989 and 2016. Good. So he's just trying to give a justification as to why he got his results. That there was a previous article written by Darko and Chan. It was Darko and Abel Chan. And that paper, they set a target to get articles between 1989 and 2016, but actually, they actually found the first article in 1998. Indeed, the reference year of 1992 reported in the current paper could be due to the higher number of journals included relative to the review of Darko and Chan. Okay, the publications consisted of 1,082 original research articles and 65 reviews. He just explained and all the things that he saw. Growing interest and increasing commitment to a research domain are expected to reflect in the annual publication trend in the field. Figure 2 shows the annual publication trend between 1992. Figure 2 demonstrates that green building has witnessed a steady growth over the last 26 years, or within the 26-year period. Similarly, or similar trends have been noted by previous researchers. In other words, if you look at the diagram, you can see that from 1992, the thing went up a bit in 1998. Then, the thing started rising in 1998. The sun went to it after 2000. It fell down a bit. Then it started going up again in 2004, and up and up and up to now. Okay. Until 1998, the number of publications on green building was uniformly distributed annually, mostly in the neighborhood of 3 publications. This is justifiable because during these years, the green building concept was still at a very early stage. In the year 2000, a relatively significant number of 17 was recorded for the first time. The trend declined swiftly and recovered continuously in 2005. Although an increasing pattern is observed, the trend assumed a sinusoidal pattern from 1998 to 2001. In other words, like there's a name that they have for that. Oh, it's just like hot and cold. Become hot small, become cold small, hot small. We have a certain term for that. Yeah, it's like it went up a bit, came down. So not that smooth. The steady growth between 2011 and 2008 could have been driven by the increasing concern about climate change, governmental intervention, and a renewed commitment to establishing a sustainable built environment. So he explained the trend. So you don't just put a diagram there, you have to explain the diagram. And then you also have to give reasons. You have to give reasons. Okay. Please, I'll end here today and I'll continue the next time. So this video, you have 2 weeks to watch it. The next one I'll do hopefully within the week or by the close of the week. That one will also be available. That one also will take you another 2 weeks. So roughly, I'm looking at for the next 3 weeks, you have to spend your time to watch all these videos. And if you need data to analyze anything, as I mentioned, I'm not going to force you to do it because it's not part of the work. But if you need any data, reach out to me. I'll give you some of them for you to try your hands on them. Until then, have a good time. God bless you. Enjoy your week. Bye.